How are we feeling? Are we ready for the next conversation? Yes, we are indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you. So let me welcome to the stage Unapologetically Savvy.
The path in life is not always straight, and it's okay. It's okay if it has some curves and some twists, if it has some stops and some starts. It's your journey, your path, and create it and live it. The work that I've done over my 30-year career at PepsiCo, but most importantly, proud of where I started. My father had all this old computers in the basement. I was building a set of knowledge through that playground of tech I didn't even know I was building out. Don't let work define your dash when you're born and when you leave this earth. Now that I'm in another phase of my life, I want to give back. I want to spend more time in the community. So the work's not going to define my dash. And I really do wish that I had done that probably 20 years earlier. Our seats are not filled. The roles are not there. If I am not pulling another female to the table, shame on me as a female leader in tech.
I was never supposed to find my way into rooms like these. Ask questions that challenge the status quo, imagine new ways to see the world and my purpose in it. They say life is all about the cards that you were dealt, but that's really never been a game for me because I didn't come here to play. I came here to build. With curiosity and creativity in my toolkit, I wake up every morning knowing that I have everything that I need to build a better world, not only for myself, but for the future change makers and trailblazers out there. My work is technical in nature, but my why has always been rooted in making a more inclusive, equitable world for humanity to thrive. I know why I'm here on this earth. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not afraid to do it. And I know one thing for certain, you and I here today, we're exactly where we're supposed to be.
Hey, girl. Woo.
So,
Hey, everyone, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey.
It's gonna get hot and some energy in here, so get ready.
Get ready.
So, as I was like standing in the wings and kind of watching that video, I really started to get emotional because it struck me just how far I've come. My journey didn't begin in tech. My journey began in a household where my grandmother had a 4th grade education, and I was the first to kind of do just about everything. Graduate from high school, go to college, graduate from college, go to grad school, graduate from grad school. But my family didn't understand why I wanted to use my Girl Scout cookie saving money and my news route money.
Wait. Hold on, girl.
What? Oh, yeah.
Girl Scout?
Girl Scout.
Girl Scout honor.
It's a Girl Scout thing. To use that money to build my first computer, like going to the scrap yard to build my first computer. They just didn't understand that. And so I got in trouble a lot. I got in trouble for being precocious and not fitting the box that my family, my culture, the patriarchy, society had for me. And it had nothing to do with technology. It had everything to do with find a man, get married, have some babies, and take care of me for the rest of my life.
Oh, no, you can't have that one. That's an old adage. Can't do that.
It is an old adage, and my life started in a way where it took me longer to get to really doing what I love doing. In my household, my mom and my family used the Bible as, a weapon. Honor thy mother and thy father. And every time I didn't do something that they wanted me to do, I felt like I was going straight to HE double hockle sticks. Like I really felt bad about that. So fast forward, I had to figure out what I wanted to do, and knowing that I was going to have to go alone.
Well, you know what? So your story, and being the first and going at it alone, I had a little bit of a different story. So didn't start in tech, didn't start my career in tech. Actually, I went to university and became a literature and communications major in public relations. I actually started my career in the music industry.
I didn't know that.
And so, yeah, so I was in PR in the music industry, and then all of a sudden my mom said, "This is not paying. You are fully educated. Sister, get a job." And I landed at PepsiCo, so I took a little bit of a step backward because I went in as an admin, but then I became a local area network admin, and within a year I started my tech career. So I literally have been in the tech space now for over 30 years. Didn't start there, didn't think I'd end up as a CTO vice president, which is where I last left at PepsiCo before I took early retirement. But let me tell you, the journey along the way has been tremendous, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But when I first started my career, they said to me, or when I first said I wanted to do journalism, and I actually wanted to be a news reporter, and they said, "Sister, you're too fat, you're too tall, too dark." And I just quickly pivoted, and technology became an area I could lean into. And similar to what you talked about, it started at home. And it started with my father, who had technology all around the house because he was in what they called telecom way back in the day.
There's so much there that's similar in our stories. But one of the things is that we can say that our journeys weren't easy. Right, so I put myself through college. I'm still writing those checks every month to pay off my student loans. I put myself through grad school, still writing those checks to pay off my student loans. And the thing is that we had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it was terrifying, it was thrilling, all those great things. But at every risk that I had to take that gamble, I don't gamble, but the one thing I do is I bet on myself. And every time that I bet on myself, I always won. And so when I started doing that early, I kind of got excited. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I really got this. I understand this. So I have an undergraduate degree in engineering from Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts. I have a master's degree from NYU in financial management and health policy. And I pivoted to technology through working in corporate America.
So, let's hold up for a second, because I'm talking about going to school in New York, you're talking about going to school, but we're not from here, Europe. So what brings us all the way across the pond to have this conversation?
Dion.
I'll tell you, for me, I thought it was important for us to come and speak and have this fireside chat because we both have had the opportunity to go global. We've both had the opportunity to knock on doors. We've had challenges that we've had to overcome. And so I thought it was important because at the end of the day, and I had it a little bit in my promo video, we're coming into tech, and there's a lot of folks coming into tech. I feel that especially blacks, we get stuck in the middle, and we don't actually excel to that higher level. And we've had the opportunity to get to some pretty significant levels. So I thought it was important to share our story, talk about some of our challenges, how we've overcome them, and then really just say, hey, there's a way, there is a path forward, and so that folks can see there are women leaders in tech who have done it and will continue to do it. And I thought it was important that we come and share that story. So have you had any challenges along your career?
What? Like, of course, yeah. I mean, yes. Just the level set. Not all storms come to, disrupt and tear up your life. Some storms come to clear a path for what's right. And I had to learn that, the hard way. And the mountains that I've had to climb, the challenges that we're going to share a little bit with, is that the reason why I'm here, I want you to think of me as the auntie that you never knew you had, because I can show you through the experiences that we've been through, I've been through, the shortcut, so you don't have to climb the mountain, maybe go around it, right? Or maybe that there's a tunnel that has a secret door knock and handshake that you can go through. I'm here to share that with you all. So consider me your auntie that you didn't know you had. I was assigned this assignment from the higher power to help you all get to that next level and not go through the hills and valleys as long that we had to go through, but get there faster and stay there longer.
Yeah, I call that accelerating your path to greatness. And as I'm now in this phase of my career, it's really about how do I help that next generation accelerate that path to greatness. So let me share with you one of my challenges, okay? Does that sound good?
Okay.
So, growing up early in my career, I happened to be fairly young and started managing teams. And folks just didn't respect me. And so, one of the challenges I had to overcome very early in my career is how to win the respect of others, especially when you didn't have that knowledge. So early in my career, I managed a program called Lands Across America. So we were literally putting in technology in all of the PepsiCo facilities in North America. And so think about routers, desktops, didn't have laptops at the time, but it was routers, it was circuits, all that kind of good stuff. And the folks I was working with were in their 50s and 60s, and I was in my 20s. And I was the one who was running Gunshot. Just couldn't get any respect. And eventually you just had to sit down. Sometimes you've got to face the horn, you just face the bull and just say, hey guys, we have a job to get done and we have to do it together. So first challenge is not getting respect, not being listened to. And the best way you can deal with that is call folks on the carpet politely, professionally, and also put them, what are we trying to get done here? And be really clear with, do we have a goal? We have something to get accomplished? And usually people will come on board. And that's what's worked for me for that early in the career. Now, later in the career, different tactics, but early in the career, it's transparency, effective communication, and it's quite honestly, it's putting on your big girl panties and saying, well, I'm here to do a job. What are you here to do?
So I had to learn the hard way, because I grew up in a neighborhood, in a household, and it's like, oh yeah, you ain't gonna be talking to me like that. Like, you disrespect me, it is on. I am about to give you a two-piece, and that don't work in corporate America. And it fits into every stereotype that they have about people of color, women in power positions. I've had men say to me, even to this day, I have ties older than you. And I'm like, but they don't look as good and know what I know. Right? So I do have comebacks for that. But here's the thing. I have a friend of mine who is a former FBI agent. She used to be on Barack Obama's security team, and she's Greek and maybe 5'2". And she was the only female on her team. And so she taught me through her experiences this whole thing about, making people respect you. We got a job to do. My job is not to convince you that I'm all that in a bag of chips. I know my value and my worth. I know why I'm here. I'm here to protect the president, not to try to convince you to respect me, because that's never going to happen. So she focused on the job. What's the job? Protect the president. And I've used that in work. It's like, hey, you don't need to like me because I love me. I'm all good. We got a job to do.
It's all about
Let's
getting the work done.
just get the job done. Amen. We don't got to socialize. We got to get this up and running. Let's get it up and running. And let's keep it moving. If you focus on, let's just get the job done and not let your ego pop in, it's like, I'm not going to let him talk to me like that. I'm not going to let him. No, they are going to do what they're going to do. But as soon as you focus on getting the job done, it takes you out of the emotion of having to have people like you. I prefer that people don't like me, honestly. I prefer that.
So, that's actually really interesting. So in my environment at PepsiCo, delivery, results. Outcome driven, but I was always purpose aware, right? So always what my purposes and what we had to get done. But so you talked about people not liking you and that challenges that comes with that. At the end of the day, you're not graded for your likability, you're graded for your outcome. As you get up the ladder, though, and this is important, you are graded for how effectively we can work with each other. And so I think what we have to do is be very effective at how do we compartmentalize our emotion about the people that we're working with the job we have to get done. And I have found, especially as I mentor a lot of our up-and-coming Black techsters, leave the emotion at the door. We have a job and work to do, and it's about getting that outcome done. No one really cares about your feelings. They want to make sure it gets done. So that doesn't sometimes make for high likability, but if you deliver the results, you'll be loved by your leadership.
True. So being an only in a room where I am still today, even as a partner principal at PwC, I'm still the only from my company side in these meetings, on the client side in these meetings, and earlier in my career, I would always kind of sit on the outskirts, right? And then I remember a friend of mine, she said to me, you deserve the seat at the table, so sit up front. Don't sit in the back. You know, when I was in college, I'd like sit in the back on the end row so I can bounce, right? But when it comes to meetings, I know what I've done. I'm not going to tell you all here what I've done. You can go on my LinkedIn and check it all out, right? That's something there. But what I know what I've done, and I'm confident in what I can do. And so I'm going to sit up in the front row. I'm going to sit next to the person at the head of the table. I'm going to take up that space because there's several people that came before me that pulled up that table so that I can pull up that chair and sit there. And there's a thing that I tell people all the time. There's always going to be a few points in your career when you're going to be standing at a fork in the road, and you're going to have to choose either to choose you, choose what you truly believe, choose to stay true to yourself, choose to be your authentic self, or adjust to what makes the people around you more comfortable. Right. What makes them more comfortable? That's you being quiet. When someone says, you know, keep the peace, keep the peace means I'm at war inside for myself to keep the peace for you. And so once I started thinking that way, things got a lot easier for me to navigate the nonsense that happens. Because, you know, hurt people, and hurt people show up at work, and you got to work with them.
Right.
You know, so keeping these things in mind helps you to choose. Not everything is a battle. You know, selectively go into the war that you want to go in, knowing that you're going to come out on top.
So I have a good story I can add on to that one. So in my career, around about the 20-year marker of my career, I had my mentor, sponsor, was a very high senior vice president at PepsiCo, and has done a lot in the world in HR and DE&I. And he was kind of like my godfather. His name was Ron. And he said, Fern, you're now 20 years in at a Fortune 50 organization. You're already proven. Stop going into the room. Stop going into the meetings as if you have something to prove. You're already proven. And when he said that to me, it was like things became a lot easier because I went in there not being cocky, but I went in there with a confidence that said, I belong here. I know how to navigate in this workspace, and I know how to deliver. And I came in with a different level of confidence, which people then saw me in a different light and said, oh, she's not coming in timid, Fern, which I don't think I'm ever really timid, but she's coming in confident, and she's actually delivering what we need to get done. So it was an eye-opener, and it was freeing to know that, and I think we have to stand in our power. So when I got promoted to VP, CTO Vice President, I had another SVP woman, and she said, Fern, stand in your power. You are supposed to be where you are. The organization doesn't mess up. They wouldn't put you here if you couldn't deliver against this agenda, if you couldn't set the strategy, if you couldn't manage at scale. So stand in that and own it. And I think sometimes we are shy about standing in our power.
Yes, that's true. I mean, you never told me that story. That's a really good one. And it goes back to confidence. Is you are in your role, in your job. Most of us get caught up in having to prove to everyone that crosses our path, ooh, I'm valuable. Ooh, I know good stuff. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nah. You here, boo. You here, right? You need to understand and remind yourself that I've done some really great-ish. Like, I've done some stuff. You know, one of the streaming platforms that I'm not going to name that you all watch, and I all watch, and, you know, blah, blah, and chill, was one of my customers. Like, I've done some great stuff. I know what I've done, so when I walk in the room, no one's going to try to mansplain anything to me on the stuff that I built and you use every day. I know that. Once you have that power, no one can take that from you. And you have to remind yourself just who you are and what you've done, because that's going to keep you at the table longer, in conversations longer, and move you up the ladder, the corporate ladder. And so I want to segue to something that is very near and dear to my heart. Someone had asked me, what's the difference between assertive and aggressive? And I said, your race and your gender. Because if you're a black woman like myself, they've always quick to say that I'm assertive. And then, or aggressive. And it depends on who is more threatened by me. I can show up in a room, not even open my mouth, and people are clutching their pearls. Like they're already uncomfortable because of the energy that I bring in the room. The energy that I bring in the room is like, I know what I've done, and who I've done it for, and y'all ain't gonna try to put me in a box. And so, my challenge to you all is that someone's gonna label you something, but that doesn't mean you have to try to wear that label. Call me whatever. But you're gonna call me if you wanna make that money, right? You're gonna call me if you wanna make your stuff work, if you wanna scale, if you wanna do something innovative, if you wanna motivate your team, if you wanna take your organization to the next level. Who are you gonna call?
So let me invite something to this conversation. So as senior leaders, you have to be able to read the room. And you have to say, okay, I've already been labeled assertive or aggressive. How can I diffuse that? Because at the end of the day, we have to be effective collaborators to work with each other. So one of my approaches to diffusing, because I know I'm going to be labeled. We're all going to be labeled. A, know your facts, know your data, know your shit, quite honestly. Just know your stuff, deliver against that, and kill them with kindness, and kill them with a smile. I'm telling you, girl, it works. And also, and also know, because this is, early in my career, it was Fern talking, talk. I had to be the one heard. As I moved up, I had to not be heard. And the less I spoke, the more impactful it was, because when I came out with fire, people were like, okay, all right, I see where you're coming with. So I think there is a kill 'em with kindness approach that you can do to help diffuse that. But no, folks, people are going to label us. And so how do we work within that construct and move forward? Because we have, at the end of the day, what do we have to do? We got a job to deliver.
It's true. I mean, kill him with kindness. Yeah.
She doesn't like it.
I mean, like, whatever. It is just like, I'm no nonsense, right? I don't take myself seriously. I am easy to get along with. But if you cross me,
that's it.
Like,
it's over.
It is over. It is over. And I'm still working on that, as you can see. It is very hard. You know, we live in a world where, you know, hurt people, and I'm very quick to be like, okay, I see you. Take a breath, you know, and I don't focus on the response that they're looking for. I focus on giving them the outcome that they need.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say, you don't need to like me, because I love me. Let's keep it moving. Let's do what we got to do. And for people earlier in your career, I just want to throw this out there, because I was known for this. Very much so, like, okay, oh, I don't know what to say. Maybe I just sit here and be quiet. As a person of color, they looking at you anyway. Right? I mean, like, you in the room. You might be the only. They're looking at you. So, okay, what are you gonna say? This is my advice. If you're a woman of color or the only person in the room, how do you balance that, you know, being aggressive, assertive, and any other adjective that is not flattering? How do you balance that? So normally when I spoke up earlier in my career, I was always interrupted. And I was faced with two choices. I could either speak up and be like, dude, stay in your lane, I didn't finish, but in a more professional way. And risk being seen as aggressive, right? Because I said, I'm not done. Or you stay quiet. And then you stay quiet, and then everyone dismisses you going forward. And so we can't go it alone. And so when you're in that room, and we've all heard the term allyship and allies, is I look for someone in the room who knows me, knows what I've did, and will continue to do, to be like, hey, let's let Yvette finish. And more time than not, that's only have to happen once, and I've stopped being interrupted. As I've gotten further up in my career, I don't talk in my meetings. I let my team talk.
Exactly.
I let them talk. I was like, hey, y'all figure it out. Everything is figure outable. You need something, let me know, I'll go get it. But I didn't have this meeting for me to come in here and tell y'all what to do. You in here, every person in this room today, in this seat, you have a superpower. You, only you. You're one of one, unless you're a twin. Only you. There's something that you can do, only you can do from your experience. My teams are full of these type of people, so who am I to come in and tell them, like, this is how we're gonna do it and we should do it? No, I let them all talk, and I'm the last person to speak. And I was like, we good? We going to path forward? What y'all need? Need more money? Okay, let me go get that. Knock it out of the park. When you learn to do that later in your career, your teams thrive, because I don't micromanage anybody. I don't got time for that. You give them the power to use their superpowers.
It's so important for your teams to be empowered and to know that they have the, I wouldn't even say a leash, but they really have the freedom to do, because you've already set the strategy. And if the people are following against your strategy, they know what the expected outcomes are. It becomes very clear and easy with what has to be delivered. So gosh, the time seems like it's flying by. So we're almost at time here. You know, I'll talk about thriving, and you can't just survive, you've got to thrive. And you have to be clear with what will it take for you to thrive. I will tell you one thing, please don't be fearful. If you have any faith, fear has no place where faith lives. And so trust in your abilities, constantly sharpening your saw, and that allows you to thrive. And then one of the things I think that really has made it important for me to thrive is I've got a pretty vast network. So I've been working globally for the past 15 years, and I've got friends all over the world and network contacts over the world. But the important thing is you've got to nurture that network before you need your network. What happens, I have a lot of folks at the 11th hour say, Fern, can you help me through this situation? I'm like, well, it's too late. That should have been 3 months ago. So I'll invite you to do this, please, as you do anything as you're doing, as you're managing your career and wanting to navigate so that you can be unapologetically savvy, is build your network, be really clear with the people who you want to have around you, nurture that network. Don't wait till the last minute to ask for their help, but keep that moving forward so that when you have to touch base with them and ask for things, they're there for you. Super important. And as you move up the ladder, understanding the technology is a foundational enabler, but understanding your network, understanding how to get an agenda done, set a strategy, becomes really critical. How do you thrive?
Like, networking is important, but my network is my tribe. And that tribe is 5 people. 5 people, and then 6 degrees of separation, my network expands. And I want to really hone in on this, is the people that are around you may not like the way that you grow. They could be cousins, family members, your significant other, frenemies. You need to be very selective in who you surround yourself with, personally and professionally. Be smart. This ain't checkers, this is chess. This is strategic. You need a board of personal advisors that help you in your personal life. My go-to girl, Erica. Shout out Erica, she's back in New York doing something, right? And then there's people like Fern, right? Like, know who you know.
So I call it board of directors. You call it personal board of advisors. It's your PBOD. You may have heard this before. But it's so important. What you're saying is spot on. It's so important to have your network of folks who protect you, who look up for you, who tell you what you don't want to know, what you don't want to hear, but you need to hear if you're going to excel to that next level.
Absolutely.
So having your own personal advisors or board of directors is really key. So you know what, girl, we've had just a few minutes to share with this audience a little bit of our background, a little bit of kind of what motivates us, what has helped us excel to where we are. And I know that we both have more in store. So what's next for you?
Well, there's a lot next, and I know we're running out of time. I think that there's a slide with a QR code that talks about the stuff that we are reading, who we're listening to. I just want to close you all with this because I think it will help you relate to the journey that we've been on. So there's this poem by George Bernard Shaw that perfectly captures my life and my why. And I'd like to leave you with this. This is the true joy of life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being thoroughly worn out before you are thrown on the scrap heap, the being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little cloud of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I'm of the opinion that my life belongs to this community. As long as I live and looking fabulous, it is it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. So that's why I got on a plane to come from New York to sit with you all today. And anyone can be cool, but awesomeness takes practice. So it is a splendid torch in which we have got a hold of for a very brief moment of time, and I want to make sure that it burns as brightly as possible before handing it off to each and every one of you in the future generations. So my call to action and my question to every one of you is, so what will you choose? Will you let fear hold you back, or will you step into the unknown to be ready to build the life you were meant to live? So let's prove them wrong, okay? Let's create a future where technology and ambition and refine what's possible. The only thing standing between you and that future is the decision to take the first step. So I got a torch to pass.
Wow.
Who wants it?
Hey, she's offering up torches. I'm telling you, I want you to accelerate your path to greatness. Find a mentor, find a sister, find a brother, find someone who doesn't look like you to help mentor you through your career. We're here to help. All day. But let me tell you, it's important that you build that network. It's important that you go out of your comfort zone, because blacks in tech, we have a lot to offer, a lot to give, and there's a lot of jobs out here and a lot of money to be made. So with that, we want to tell you, I think our slide is up.
Yeah, and we are way over time, and they're yelling at us
We're way
in the
over
wings.
time. We're reading some books.
We're coming.
We're on podcasts. You can follow me on Two Lit Chicks, Two Leaders in Technology Chicks, and on socials and on LinkedIn.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.